Hi guys, welcome back to the Drive Life channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a tip that you can use to dramatically increase the fuel economy on your Volvo. Now, I didn't start doing this until this week really, or the past week. It was Monday today, but last week. And the reason I started doing it was because of the whole fuel crisis and all that chaos going on with not being able to get any fuel. I thought, well, what can we do to increase the fuel economy on the Volvo? So I remembered that a subscriber had mentioned that they used to get far more miles per gallon, as it were, using the automatic gearbox in manual mode. So that's what we're going to be doing. I've been practicing and I've got it pretty much down. So we've gone from averaging about 36 mpg up to about 48 just doing this. So it definitely works. So let's get into it. So obviously I've got the car in drive at the moment and we're at 50 miles an hour, and you'll see that we've just changed into 6th gear. Now the trick that we're going to be using is forcing the car to change up sooner than it usually would. Now the reason we're doing this is because these early gearboxes without the eco mode, the TF80SCs on sort of the early P3 D5s, they actually aren't the most efficient, and they're not optimized to be as efficient as possible, whereas the later cars, the sort of the 20 I think it's 2012 onwards, the ones with the screen in the middle, etc., they are. So this tries to put you in sort of the best performance gear possible. So normally it would change down to 5th now, but I'm in 6th, and the car pulls nicely up through. The thing is, you've got this big 5-cylinder diesel lump in the front. You've got loads of torque. You don't need to be changing gear all the time. And if you're in a manual car, you'll get far better fuel economy because of this reason. So we're just cruising now in 6th gear, and you'll see that, well, we were just a second ago getting around 56, 57 mpg on just cruising at 56 miles an hour on a nice sort of flat, easy road. So what we were shortly going to come up into a 30 zone now, and the few times I've come unstuck with this is that I've forgotten I've got it in manual mode. So it's happened to me as I came off the N25 actually, at the A12 junction earlier last week. And what happened was I went to go, the car had changed down to 2nd to set off, and then was very sort of, obviously didn't go anywhere because it wouldn't change up. So anyway, I'm going to knock it out. We're going to slow down. Actually, I'll show you quickly. So we're in 6th gear now, and what you'll see is, if you can see this thing, is that the car will automatically change down a gear if the gear gets too low. So what you'll find is you're automatically in the lowest gear possible, ready, which is nice. Now we're in 4th gear at 30 miles an hour, and the car was just doing about 55 mpg. Doing 50, there we go, 55 mpg on a flat bit of road. We've got some traffic here, so what I'm going to do now is, to save me making any mistakes, I'm just going to bung it back into drive while we do this little bit, and then as we move off again, we'll be putting it back into manual mode. Now I'm not quite sure what's on this traffic. I'm just going to turn this down as well, because it's quite a cold day today. Well, 12 degrees, and it's sort of, as you can see, it's the evening, but it's been cold all day. And that's something I noticed as well. This car, when it initially starts up, can be quite grumpy. It doesn't pull very well. It sort of holds the gear quite a long time. Sometimes you need 3,000 RPM. It's partly because of the age of the gearbox fluid, but also just because it's cold, the fluid isn't warm, and it struggles. So we've got roads closed, and people have to ask the people there if the road's closed or not, because there's a sign in a van. So that's why we're taking ages to get along this onto this roundabout here. So a bit frustrating. I'm not quite sure what the lady in the Corsa thinks she's doing. Here we go, through. So what we're going to do now is, as you can see, we're coming up to 20 miles an hour. Put it back in manual mode. We're in 2nd gear, and I'm just going to knock it up as quick as I can, up the gears. So we're at 25 miles an hour, it will go into 4th. Now normally it would hold the gear a lot longer, and what this does, it just massively improves the fuel economy, because you're having to use less engine speed, therefore less fuel to get the car going. Now there are certain exceptions where, like you would in a manual car, if you drop down the gear too much or change up too quickly, you can use more fuel because you have to really put your foot down. This car won't let you do that, which is a nice bit. So as we move up to 30 miles an hour now, we can actually change up into fifth. Not quite. The car won't let you do anything that will damage it. That's the nice thing. So this is pretty foolproof. There we go. Fifth in at 30 miles an hour, and we'll slowly come up to the speed limit. And yeah, just the savings on fuel alone have been absolutely mental. I increased my range by 300 miles. Just turn on the automatic wipers that aren't automatic, because you have to turn them on. So we're going to go up, and as soon as we get to 1500 RPM, we can change up to the next gear. That's the lowest that the car will let you change up, or lowest RPM that the car will change up. So now we're at 45 miles an hour in sixth, cruising along, and I'm actually accelerating uphill, and I'm still doing 35 mpg. Now normally this would drop to about 14 if I was doing that, so the gains here are absolutely massive. And once we get up to cruising speed, sort of 50, 55, 60 miles an hour, yeah, it just cruises along quite happily. What I have noticed is when it's in manual mode, it gets better fuel economy per gear as well. I'm not quite sure why that is. I don't know the science behind that. I think it might be something to do with the fact that it's directly in that gear, and it's not sort of preparing the next gears ready and sort of messing around with the clutch. I don't know, but yeah, it is much better fuel economy. The car just seems to perform better. I think the thing is, what it is, it's when you drive a manual car, you change up much earlier than the automatic car does, because it's trying to spin up the torque converter to make sure you've got the right amount of torque, etc. for the gear. Put it in manual mode, it sorts it all out. So we're going to slow down now into this 30 zone. You'll see that we're in sixth gear. I'm just going to hold the brake, slow down to speed. It's automatically changed me down to fifth because it sensed that the car was going really slowly. So now we're in fifth in a 30. And it's just changed down to fourth as well, because we've just gone under 30. There's a car in front of me that's just stopped with its hazard lights on. So we're just going to squeeze through here in front of this Corsa, like that. And we're still in fourth, and the car is quite happy, just under 1500 RPM. And the main sort of reason this is so much better is because you keep your RPMs right down, around 1500 RPM. So we're just coming up to 30 miles an hour now. Now this car, you can do 33 miles an hour and you're not actually exceeding the speed limit because of the way it's calibrated. And once you hit about 33 miles an hour, you can then change into fifth, I've worked out. So you can drop it right down and you'll be getting 60 plus miles per gallon in a 30 zone, which can be really helpful. So there we go, we're up into fifth now as we come out of the 30. And you can hear the engine's just much quieter, chugging along as we sort of slowly build up the speed. I mean, if you're going to do an overtake, then you might want to stick it back into automatic, or if you're also going to sort of really put your foot down, the kick down will automatically sort it out as well, so you won't get stuck. So we're up into sixth now at 40 miles an hour, and the car's sort of just trundling along. And again, we're accelerating and doing over 30 miles per gallon, which is pretty much unheard of in this car. I haven't really experienced that until I've started doing this. So yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. If you were the subscriber that mentioned it to me, and the people on Instagram that messaged me as well, comment below and let me know, because you're absolutely right, this really does make such a difference on the fuel economy, and especially during all this fuel crisis stuff. I don't know how long it's going to go on. No one seems in a hurry to really sort it out. So yeah, definitely give it a go on your Volvo. If you've got the Geartronic gearbox, not sure if it'll work the same on the power shift, because I know they're dual clutch, I think. So give it a go. Let me know how you get on. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see your guys' results with the Geartronic and doing this manual business. Once you're out on the open road, it really isn't any different to how you drive anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next video. Cheers.